Um, okay, Infogalactic, if it was an AI, if VoxDay made an AI, first thought, coffee, bam. You know, so VoxDay, if you were to make an AI, see, for the right, this is totally like, I get like people are like, oh, AI will do, I mean, I'm hearing these things that it's like command, this artificial neural network to do these things. Okay, so for one, the right already has dealt with AI. How do I mean? Because the right wing are nerds, not dorks. Dorks don't read. They really don't own hard copy of a lot of things. Or what they are into, even nerds are like, it's kind of dorky. Yeah, he's alright, but he's really that one. It's real dorky stuff he's into. I don't get it. He's into I don't know, like weird manga. It's like you start naming it, it's all stuff that's kind of like second tier, but it's like that guy who wants to make second tier, A tier. He's like, no, it's A tier, you don't understand. And I'm like, God, I'm not going to argue with him. Dork. What a dork. So anyway, the right wing has already dealt with AI in a lot of fiction. Because I think this comes up in, if I'm remembering correctly, there is an aspect of the idea of your cyber deck having its own multi-tiered subroutines, and that's in Neuromancer, if I remember correctly. There's a number of ideas of the really the idea of the neural network that comes up in quite a number of anime and manga, but the one that most, as everyone knows I'm a freak for, is Masamune Shirow's Appleseed. And it's because of his technical notes on this, and then his marginalia, when he pictures sort of what is in, this is what it kind of looks like in the imagination of this person, or their sort of sense field. But what this character over here is, and be like this little robot thing. That robot is representing fundamentally an artificial intelligence subroutine that's just working on this other task. And so the idea being is that this main character is in some way, shape, or form sort of seeing the AIs that are working, because they have sort of sensing that these AIs are working because they're actually using the character's brain power. They're using their neural network to actually do the subroutine. And so this is something like, and then so what the true terror actually ends up becoming with something like, what if AI could do this? It's not even so much that AI can like hack a bunch of things, or figure out, how to commit a crime, but it's the true terror was what Shiro shows when humans can install devices in the mind that require a sense field that is fundamentally its own area of sort of virtual reality. So if you're going to, say, pilot a car with your mind, in the future, a car that you can pilot with your mind becomes a reality. And so what you end up getting is this sense field that is probably a combination of all sense fields and the input from the car. And that somehow you experience all of those together, and there would be different qualities of how this would work in one's brain, depending upon how much you spent on the equipment inside of your brain, is the idea in the story. So there's people that they're cybernetic processor, the thing that makes them actually deal with this, what would be bunches and bunches of small artificial intelligences. These devices would have to be extremely smart to deal with the speed of the commands coming from the human brain. And so that alone is its own issue too. But you would end up having, like, say, a low quality arm, and somebody, or an arm of decent quality, but their subprocessor is not a very high quality, so that they keep having to just add programs to the limb rather than deleting or altering the settings of the limb. So this happens in one of Masamune Shirow's manga, and it's a police officer, a female police officer is a full conversion cyborg, and that when somebody kind of hacks her mind, they're like, what the hell's wrong with this person's arm? Because they had to patch the programming for the arm that they fire with so many times, the arm works all funny. So as this person's trying to do elite level fighting, the arm is malfunctioning, and so they have to upload the correct program, delete the programming in the arm, then kind of reboot the arm in the middle of combat. And it's a fantastic, this character is one of the best characters written in sci-fi, is Motoko Kusanagi, the major. So the quintessential female who beats people through being very, very smart and very clever, and then also being a part of a larger number of events that is kind of like prophetic. And so it's a great character, the best character ever. They don't write them like that anymore. So, and so that's where I was thinking about AI in particular. This idea that there's a whole bunch of writers who are going to be replaced by AI. There's the strike and all this. And something I was reading about was like the future of how the government's going to oppress people, various ways that they're going to start going after just saying certain ideas have to be crazy. and that probably somebody who would hold such ideas is inherently dangerous, and that we're getting that stage, and the reason why I had to stop and really think, and it just hit me, was the reason the right is having so much fun with this, I think, with the AI, why we are giggling. Like, I'm thinking, have you all noticed that there's not many commentators right of center they're saying this and that about AI, but they're not really terribly worried, I think they're getting like somebody, there's going to be a number of people who are going to develop these, because already the dumbed down, politically correct ChatGPT can't answer math questions correctly anymore twice, and I guess is at something like 2 or 22% correct, correct at math, if I remember right, was the report or something. That it just doesn't do what you want anymore. So for us, the idea of hitting a button and saying computer, and that the computer does stuff, we've been wanting that. That's our world. That's what we're all about. That we have our Scotty beam me up walkie-talkies, Now it's a matter of, I just want my, computer, lapel pin. And for like the right, I think like, we're kind of thinking that's obviously what's coming. A little lapel pin that you hit it and you say, call such and such, and it's like, and you hear it ring and all that, or you have your earpiece in, and so you have your lapel pin in your earpiece, because the lapel pin is like, another smart listening device, that will, that and the AI that you have in your phone will be constantly, doing this or doing that, like as an assistant type program or something, So there's all kinds of ways that this is going to end up being a humongous boon it's going to be a humongous business. The thing that now, because it seems that it's going to replace so many journalists, and now openly, that's something that just straight up, the Kung Fu teacher just got in touch with me. Let's see what I might own. Actually, now I should look at the clock and see. Yeah, okay, good, I'm on time. I'm not sure what's going on. The Kung Fu teacher had stuff he had to do. He had family stuff, and so it's like, family men, the busy people. So there's a aspect of everyone chuckling on the right about AI scaring journalists, because we've seen the journalists will all work together and will just make things up. And they'll all actually act together. And with the recent, the editor, that woman who was an editor at, what was it, Politico, I believe, or was it, there's recent congressional testimony from this female journalist who really broke like the huge Hunter Biden deal. And the thing is, I'm pretty sure that's the person I saw react to the Piss dossier. And when she reacted to the Piss dossier, her reaction on Twitter was, I saw this getting shopped around and I wasn't going to put a finger on it. All she said, and I'm almost absolutely sure that's who it was. And so that was one of those little things that it's like, no, that's how you hunt the veracity of a story. That's how people like me figured out this was a whole bunch of bullshit. And then the fact that all journalists all at the same time all said the same thing and all had the same information and all the same sources. That was the next part of it. Then I'm like, okay, so this is somebody's getting a phone call, and this is what everyone's supposed to say. They had some kind of meeting on some applications platform, and now this is the story for the day. And so now everybody's really happy to see, well, the journalists are going to have to compete against actual research now, done completely. This doesn't sleep. This is a researcher who does not sleep. So, and that's that. There's going to be all sorts of actuarial science done this way. There's going to be all sorts of business and numbers analysis. I'm really going to like when you have people, the Johnny Bravos of the world, helping program business analysis AIs. Then it's done. You have huge amounts of office workers that it's done. You have only math heads who are willing to, learn Python, that are going to be working for your firm. This is going to start instantaneously changing anything DEI could ever hope to have accomplished. And decimating it, utterly decimating it. As well, I mean, you have to know how to program Python. Boom, that's it. Boom. So, the other part of it was the creative end. Nothing's going to last after this. with the way AI is going to hit reporting, the way that AI is going to hit writing, because also we're thinking of television shows and stories in a way that we remember when there was stuff on television like from the 70s. You would see these reruns and they would be these like little vignettes. They were often like, kind of terrifying. I think in a lot of places these came on late at night. They were like these little vignettes that and the person would end up, it was like almost like Twilight Zone like stuff, and oh no, I'm in the bottom of the elevator shaft, oh no, and things that people are just generally afraid of, so I started thinking about, when I look around the internet at things that people make, just amateur wise, there's a lot of this that if some of the slog, the really tough, like this took multiple days just to do this, if that could be shaved off here and there, there's a lot people can do. And we just haven't even seen what the possibilities are yet. And so the creatives showed us through what they created with The Handmaid's Tale, The Man in the High Tower. There's been a number of other shows that it's like, oh, we're a bunch of people who are going to get with this professor and get a bunch of these neo-Nazis who are going to kill our Jewish professor in 2018 or something. Because of course everyone has to get them, like the Pokemon. We got to get them all, because they're incredibly important. Oh my gosh, what would the world do? What would the world do without Jerry Seinfeld? What would they do? How would the world keep rotating? So, see, because there's people who want to stop the world from rotating and make it an Aryan winterland forever, what they need to do is they need to get them all, and then they'll have their Aryan paradise. It'll be like the land of the ultra Nords forever, Anyway, so stop the world from rotating. It's a big plot. It says so in the Zohar and the Talmud. Oh my God, Pearl learning what the Talmud was. Wasn't that adorable? Wasn't that one of the cutest things ever? I mean, honestly, bro, what's it? Hood, you've got to find the part where Pearl's like, what is the Talmud? You have to get that, dude. You have to get that and just edit it. That was platinum. I just wanted to kiss her right on her beautiful forehead. You sweet summer child, plural. So good. I'm a little behind. You're saying this is in a book called the Talmud? I love that. It's so good. So the next thing I was thinking about was, so in all these shows they're showing what will they do? They're showing you like this is their fantasy, and this is creative teams. There's creative teams, millions of dollars on the line, and this is what their subconscious comes out in their creations. This is the world they think they live in. And that's so seeing the creatives fucking starve, it just brings a joy. A cat purring, tail wagging. Like, I mean, just to see you write stories for a living, and you shouldn't be allowed to, and we love it. So just seeing this, like the creatives and the journalists have to find, and now remember, when this hits education, it's over. the college kids are about to figure this out. They're about to figure out how to use AI, and it's going to be. There was a video I posted. Some of you might have seen it. That somebody used Pareto's distribution. A woman used Pareto's distribution so that she could look up information. She used the AI edit out only the top 20% of information I have to know about the subject to know about the subject. And so she was like, this changed her entire ability to learn languages, to learn like all kinds of, and I think one of the key ones was she was on the course to learning a language she always wanted to learn, because she had used the AI to cut out stuff that would not be important. Yeah. Once that hits, this idea of that, even in studying a field, there's tiers of like what has to be known, that kind of thing, and what is other stuff you can know, and so that this is something that people are going to be able to do at home. So there's going to be people who are going to figure out, who are relatively young, how to do one job while learning a language and learning like a advanced field all at the same time, like on their cell phone. And like, because it's linked to like some of their other devices, when they get home, it updates whatever they wanted, and then they could study as they're like walking along with their earbuds in. And so that, this is a pretty serious change in the world of knowledge, like, because this is an actual human tool that affects efficiencies, and so therefore you end up with a more efficient way of editing information for educational purposes, so that you can edit out what really is, or you could prioritize what is the most important and critical information to understand that field of knowledge. Like that's a big deal. Usually that's called people who write textbooks. That usually requires a team, and all those people have to get paid, and then it has to get published, and now that's being eliminated. So there's even an entire field of expertise of sorts that then is having to leave the market because of this. So that's less costs for the colleges, and less costs for these publication houses. But that's also the publication houses survive stuff like this. See, the more I think about it, the bigger it gets later.